Shalom. So it's day 9 or 9 days till Passover. So we're looking at the second plague, the plague of frogs. Um, so according to scholars, this is a plague or a judgment. According to the Bible, the plagues were judgments against the gods of Egypt. So the goddesses of Egypt referred to here, I believe this is just two ways to say her name, which would be Hapi or Hek. And they were frog spirits or false deities that Egypt worshipped, related to the Nile River, of course. And they were an example of fertility. So, if we take a minute to look at that fertility thing, any of us who have studied the pagan traditions of Christianity and so many religions know that fertility is it's in like 99% of the symbolism that's used. It was the priority for all of these nations was the continuing on of their lives, whether that was through an abundant harvest or through the literal impregnation of the females. And so when I think about that in the life of Messiah, I think about the fact that, scripturally speaking, actually, all of the matriarchs had trouble with their wombs. Their wombs were shut until a specific time because the Father was in control of when they would bring forth seed, when they would bring forth their children, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and even Hannah. And then I think of Elizabeth and Mary, how the Father made it very clear that he is able to open wombs. He is able to bring fertility without rites, without sacrificing children, without all of the things that the pagan cultures were doing. He shows himself to be an authority over that. I think of then when we look at this, we can also look at the very real symbol that was the frog. Why did they choose the frog? How the frog became that symbol of fertility. It's interesting, though, because the New Testament has only one passage where the word frog is used. And that is found in Revelation 16:13, where it says, "And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." So I would be amiss to not bring up the fact that frogs in themselves have apparently a symbolism in the Father's eyes of unclean spirits. Do I think frogs are literally unclean spirits? No, it's symbolically. I was talking to my daughter. She talked about how frogs move from, they're amphibians, so they can move from water to land. They're very able to be fluent. Same thing with unclean spirits. We know that they were able to go from a man into swine. They can go into dry places and wander. There's this ability to just move to and fro. And also, so when you think about it from the perspective of the symbolism of unclean spirits, and then we go back to Messiah's life, it's obvious that the Messiah had control, utter control over unclean spirits. I think about Legion, when they came before him and bowed before him, because every knee will bow, and they know who he is. And he was able to send 2,000 of them into the swine. I think of the young boy who was being thrown into the fire, whose father asked for faith to believe, and that the Messiah said this kind doesn't come out but by prayer and by fasting. But I also think about Luke 4:36, and when they were all amazed and spake among themselves, saying, What a word is this? For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out. And we know that he has given us power over unclean spirits as well, through him, through his blood, like we spoke of yesterday. So as we're in this season, we just thank Yah for the remembrance that through the power, through the blood, through the sacrifice of Messiah, we have authority that he has given us over the unclean things, and we can trust him with our wombs and with our future and with our sustenance. Just like the bread, I bring up the bread again, he used that to display that he can take a small little bit of sustenance, and he's bringing manna. It's going to provide for thousands of people. And I pray that this day that'll be a blessing to you. Shalom.